You were heroes because of what we didn't know. We didn't know that you were pushing all this ideology, this deviancy on children. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party! So, guys, you know how you're getting old is when people in pop music, you have no idea who they are. So I've heard the name Meghan Trainor before, but I have no idea who she is. I think I heard she's all about that bass. I think that's her. But apparently she is, doing a bunch of stuff online, podcast stuff, and she had a little mishap that Brett Cooper brought to my attention about teachers that I thought was pretty interesting. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So let's dive in.
All right, so on this podcast episode, Meghan Trainor was talking to Trisha Paytas, who we all probably know from YouTube and TikTok. She's kind of insane, but she just had a baby and is now like kind of having a come to Jesus moment and seems like a really good mother, so it's really interesting. But anyway, just watch this interaction. You're going to notice exactly what people are canceling her for.
In school in America, I have a bulletproof backpack. I was like, fuck all that.
Like that, but also bullying. Kids can be mean. Teachers, that was my trauma. Teachers, but then also, the violence. I mean, I think it's just that thing. It's not even private school. It's just like having them homeschooled.
We're homeschooling.
Yeah,
I like how it goes.
So far, yeah.
Fantastic.
So that was it.
That was it.
20 seconds.
That was it. 20 seconds of just saying F teachers in the heat of the moment of what is going on in our schools. Obviously, it's understandable. If you are a teacher, you would not take that lightly. You would not be happy to hear that. But in the context of the conversation, obviously, they're talking about other, all of the issues that have to do with school and why they prefer homeschooling, which is a perfectly rational position.
And she is officially canceled because she said teachers.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
And obviously, I think anybody with more than 2 brain cells knows that this was a very emotionally fueled and heated conversation. They started talking about gun violence and why they're worried about sending their kids to school. Trisha then said that she had some trauma with teachers and then talks about how they're excited to homeschool. Meghan's homeschooling, which is a very cool thing because I feel like not a lot of celebrities talk openly about homeschooling their kids. So that's something that I'm interested in. I'd love to hear her talk more about it, but sadly, she's probably not going to because she's being canceled for saying teachers. Now, obviously, people were not happy about this, especially teachers. And I have empathy for that because this is a very nuanced and personal subject to so many people, especially due to everything that's going on in the world right now.
And again, I totally understand that. I understand why you wouldn't like hearing that as a teacher. But these responses are way out of pocket.
I'm sure that did not feel good to hear a celebrity say that so publicly. But the responses from teachers online have been a bit absurd. And the videos I'm going to show are mainly from lefty teachers, but that's the majority of things out there. There were only a few
Of course, the majority of teachers out there are liberal. I don't even know what the percentage is these days, especially in younger like elementary schools, which is specifically what they were talking about and specifically what we have issues with. I mean, 1% maybe, at least that they'll admit. Who knows?
Responses. It just feels very, very emotional, but I just wanted to put that out there before we watch these videos because I know that there are incredible teachers out there and I empathize with you and I, feel for you in that moment. But let's just watch what these people had to say.
Are you surprised? I'm not.
Why?
Meghan Trainor's awful take and privileged take on, I'm going to homeschool and F those teachers is how most of the country thinks anyway.
Is it though? Is it how most of the country thinks? Why is that? Is there a reason most of the country thinks that way? Have you been thrusting inappropriate things in front of our nation's children? Just asking questions here.
Surprised. Many women that look like her.
Oh, come on.
Shocking.
Many women who look like her. That's racist.
Little girl talking about, I really don't care. But just so you know, people think the way she does. But not everybody has the privilege and the money to homeschool.
That is
okay. Not everybody has the money to do all the things that they want to do. So you shouldn't talk about how nice it is to do something that you can do because other people can't do it.
What?
That's the rules.
Why we need school choice. Money should follow the
Facts.
students so that every family has the ability to.
So school choice has I'm not an expert on this, but basically that you would get tax credits. So if you live in a bad area, you could send your you could use tax credits to send to whatever the transportation would be to send your kid to a different school, a better school. So I'm in favor of that. I don't know why you wouldn't be, but again, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't have kids, so it's not necessarily something that I focus on too much, but sounds like a good idea to me.
To find the right type of education for their children and for their family. That is why school choice is dominating right now. It's insane that even some Republicans don't support it.
Yeah,
which
be
is just,
interested
like,
to hear
beyond
why.
me. But also, this woman did not make me excited about defending teachers because I listened to what she's saying. People who look like her, so she's obviously talking about white privilege, and then in her
Yup.
caption, she's talking about white women. Like, okay, obviously, well, I don't want you teaching my kids. If you're
Racist.
going into the classroom with that kind of like divisive ideology. No,
Divisive.
but she's not the only one. Here's some other ones.
Of course not.
This book is about my
Yeah, to piggyback on muscles and nursing, how people are going to read this book when you bash teachers who teach
Anybody think he's conservative? Anybody think he's conservative? Obviously, she's showing the detractors, but I'm just saying, I'm seeing a pattern here.
people how to read. And I'm just curious, if you write another book and then another book and then another book and then another book, are they all going to sound the same just like your songs?
I mean, listen.
Oh, good one. Like, come on. That's how you know that you don't have an argument when you're going to ad hominems. Your music is bad. Okay, but did I? Okay. But is what I said wrong? Well, sucks for you.
Songs all kind of do the same, but you can say that about any artist. They all have their thing, but Meghan Trainor definitely has a niche of her own.
I don't know. You guys let me know. Those Meghan Trainor fans out there, does she have variety or does every song sound the same?
But like you can see, a lot of people stopped addressing her and her comments and were just lashing out about everything. Like, come on, dude. Like, obviously, people other than teachers can teach people how to read. And if you would come back to earth here, we could actually discuss what Meghan said and why she said it with a little bit of nuance and a little bit
How dare we have a discussion with nuance? No, we can't do that.
of empathy. But that's kind of hard to do
Empathy?
these days. Here's the last one. This guy, again, it's like seems excited to cancel somebody. It's very weird.
They are. They absolutely are. They go out looking for people to cancel. It doesn't, I mean, it looks like it because it is it. They are excited to have a new person to cancel because they don't have personalities. They don't have principles. So all they have is this game of canceling people.
Well, Meghan Trainor is finally getting canceled, and she is not coming back from this one. And I, for one, could not be happier because some of us canceled her in our personal lives years ago. Literally.
All right. Well, if you already did that, then how did you know about what she said on a podcast? Seems kind of going against the whole cancel culture thing, but you would know better than me.
The shittiest thing you could ever possibly say. You might as well say, "Fuck puppies. Let's kick them while they're asleep."
It's just,
Yeah, that's the same thing. F puppies is the same thing as I want my children to be safe. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is the level of thought. This is the level of argumentation that these people have.
there's so many of those. And granted, there are other teachers that like seemed very, very hurt and were actually addressing it. But the majority of people were just randomly commenting on all of her videos being like, what about teachers? You don't like teacher? I mean, just literally losing their minds. Like the entirety of TikTok was in an uproar about it. And
You said bad thing. I don't like bad thing. You bad.
so obviously, because of all this backlash, she ended up posting an apology. Here it is.
Teachers of TikTok and teachers of the world, I recently said F teachers on a podcast, and it's not how I feel. I was fired up because we were talking about how sending your kid to school here in America is so horrific.
This is not going to work. This is not going to work. You cannot comply your way out of tyranny. You're already on their hit list. Lean into it. Lean into it because they will not accept this apology. They will just smell the weakness and come after you even harder.
And what all of us have to go through, but especially teachers, is not normal and not okay. But I did not mean that to all teachers. I love teachers. I fight for teachers. I think they have the hardest job and they're the most underpaid. They're the most unappreciated when they literally raise all of us. And I will
Well, let me finish.
remind myself that my words definitely could have a consequence and I'll be more careful. Love you all so much. I'm so sorry again. Thank you all for helping me.
So people,
So I mean, the obvious understanding of the original clip was that she was saying F the teachers that are doing X, Y, and Z, not F you if you are a teacher. That is the obvious understanding of that statement. But of course, you can't expect grace or benefit of the doubt in 2023. Come on, guys. You know better than that.
people have not liked that apology whatsoever. They did not feel like it was sincere enough. They feel like she is not doing enough. She does not have
Brasse. They will not accept it. They will not accept it.
enough action. But with this entire segment, like as I was putting it together, I just kept going back and forth because it's like, obviously that was not the best way to communicate her feelings. But also, if she was sitting in a room with a bunch of people that all had similar experiences with teachers, is she not allowed to express that? It
Of course.
feels like a lot of outrage over some ridiculous celebrity saying something that was a little bit stupid, but it's just kind of meaningless.
Your mama.
That apology did not help at all. Like I said, the damage had been done.
Told
Somebody
ya.
said, can you share specifically what you were doing to advocate for teachers? Somebody said, I'm exhausted by the disrespect. Somebody else said, do better. We don't deserve this. And then this one, I am going to pick on this person a little bit, but she said, as a teacher, going to work at a school here in America is so horrific. It is so crazy how we went from heroes in 2020 to public enemy number one. This comment is maybe beside
You went from heroes to public enemy number one because of what we found out. You were heroes because of what we didn't know. We didn't know that you were pushing all this ideology, this sexual deviancy on children. You were heroes when we thought you were teaching the way we were taught. Now, when we see those of you that are, those teachers that are pushing this stuff in front of the kids, those teachers that are all over libs of TikTok, that is why. It's not that we knew all of that and said you're heroes because of it and then found out and we're like, actually, we changed our minds. No, we had no idea that it was this prolific. And so we were like, yes, teachers, of course, you're raising the youth of this, that, and the other. But that's not how it works anymore. It's about disgustingness that should not be in front of children, that they fight so hard to put in front of children. That is why. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Once again, this is Morty. I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Check us out live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Until then, peace.